Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. You open the doors and people start pouring in. Loving it, loving it. We had a lot of people on the training, whatever you call it these days when we're Zooming. Um, and of course, I being the Miss World, you can just call me Miss World. I just love hearing that there are people from, Mozambique and Mongolia and wherever they were all from. So welcome, welcome everyone as you are coming in. And yes, I would love it if you would just put where you're joining the training from. Just say hi. It's nice to know that there are people, actual people on the other end of this black box. So of those of you who are in right now, and thanks and welcome everyone who's coming in. As you're coming in, I'm interested to know how many of you were able to be here live yesterday. You can raise your hand. Awesome. Great, great. And so you can lower your hands now. And then how many of you watched the recording yesterday? Good. Okay. So remember that the recording is up for 24 hours. Um, you, if you missed it, if you want to revisit it, it's up for 24 hours. So yesterday's is already closed. As soon as we start today's program, yesterday's is closed. Yesterday's recording option is closed. But anyway, so just remember that you have that 24 hours to watch. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you again to my incredible team. They have been doing yeoman's work or yo women's work for all their support and responsiveness with the emails that are flying in and all of the chat and questions and stuff from yesterday. They're just being amazing. I love them all. Thank you so much. And like yesterday, I'm going to leave my camera off during today's training, but I actually forgot. I was going to put my camera on at the end of the call when we did our spotlight coaching, our Q&A session, and I forgot to. So if you will help me remember, I'll do that at the end today when we do Q&A. And lastly, if you, just in terms of reminders, if you haven't gotten a copy of the book yet, I know a number of you have been writing in to say that you haven't gotten, that you weren't able to get a copy of the book when Amazon had it on for free last week. So you can get an audiobook version of that, client care at Claire Communications. Just send an email there and put in the subject line, Linda's book. Okay, that's all we need, and we'll get you a link to the audiobook version. Now, in terms of technology, this presentation will work best if you have it on full screen. So you can toggle, I believe the area to choose that is up in the top right, I believe, of your screen. And we will be using chat today for a couple of different things that I'll be asking you. I'll also be asking you to raise your hand and lower your hands. And so that function is in, I believe it's always different on my screen. In the three dots where it says more, I believe that's where your raise hand function is. And a number of you already know that. So if nothing else, 2020 has taught everyone how to do Zoom. So I know that we learned a lot yesterday. I see that a lot of you have already started to put the training into action. I'm very, very pleased at how many of you turned in yesterday's homework. That was to add at least 15 names to your Freedom Following Jumpstart list. And I'm curious, just to show of hands, how many of you added more than 15? Great. Okay. Now you're talking. I'm glad to hear that. So as long as you turned in your yesterday's homework by 9 a.m., that made you eligible for today's drawing. And that is a very cool high-def monocular telescope, which again has an important audience building metaphor embedded into it, which I will share with you when we spin the wheel at the end of today's training. If you didn't get your homework in for today's spin, you still have time to do it, plus today's homework, and then turn both of them in by 9 a.m. tomorrow to be eligible to be in the drawing for a spot in the Freedom Following Formula program. That's our grand prize. So your homework from yesterday and your homework today by 9 a.m. tomorrow, and that gets you a spot in the drawing. And then don't forget to bring your questions to our Q&A Spotlight Coaching at the end of today's session. Anytime they occur to you, you can type them into the questions box, and then my team will organize them for the Q&A. So here's what we are going to cover today. The number one real reason that we go into business for ourselves and how to fulfill that reason. The 5 freedom opportunities that your online audience will support. The client offer matrix with a dozen plus ways, I think I counted 17 actually, to leverage your earnings with a freedom following while serving your audience and making a strong impact. We'll go deep on 3 of those. A way to identify the logical next steps for your audience. The 5 steps of developing your own freedom following. And I want to demonstrate to you the financial power of a freedom following. I consider this a really important thing to show you. So let's just start with a super quick recap of some of yesterday's highlights. We talked about the reverse FNL trap and how your freedom following is the key to getting out of that. That's the reverse Friday Night Lights trap, where instead of Coach Taylor's clear eyes, full heart, can't lose, it's more like clear eyes, full heart, can't win. You're clear you want to be a positive, even joyful force and impact the lives of others through your work. You have a full heart packed with a desire to serve and to live a rich and vibrant life with the freedom to call the shots, but you can't seem to make a dent in acquiring new clients or attracting people to your program. So it feels more like clear eyes, full heart, can't win. And this is a problem for many and one that can get really discouraging. But when you build an audience and nurture the relationship and make offers the freedom following way, you can't lose. One of the things that we talked about yesterday drew a big reaction, so I wanted to repeat it. Whereas audience building used to be as simple as subscribe to my newsletter on your website. Now, if you listen to, a lot of experts, you're expected to have a Facebook page and a Facebook group and do Facebook Lives and host Facebook challenges and interact with followers and post engaging content and employ bots and do boosted posts and target paid ads and post pictures and stories and reels and interact with influencers and tell them about your work and have them introduce you to their large audiences and be witty, always be witty, do paid ads. And then you have to create your Pinterest boards and film engaging videos for YouTube and tweet out helpful tips regularly. And you have to get on dozens of podcasts and pepper the internet with guest blog posts and LinkedIn. Oh yeah, LinkedIn and Clubhouse and do a giveaway and do a summit and do a JV swap and give webinars and make more freebies. And oh my gosh, I mean, this is what it seems like everyone is telling you to do, right? And that still makes me feel breathless and exhausted. I don't know about you. But I gave you permission to build your freedom following your way and ignore everything else. And I kind of outed myself as an example of someone who has almost exclusively grown my audience without social media. And that doesn't mean that social media is bad. For some people, it's perfect. It just means that you get to choose whether or not to employ it. You're not obligated. So tomorrow I will be showing you the alternative to social media that's gotten me to where I am today in my audience building. And then lastly, we talked about the importance of email, building and mailing an email list, and how email is really your yellow brick road that leads to paid clients and customers and students. And then I showed you how to create your Freedom Following Jumpstart list, which is the best and the most supportive way to go from I don't have a list to really rocking your freedom following. And even if you already do have a list, it's a great exercise to do. And speaking of rocking your freedom following, I also let you know yesterday that we are opening the doors to my Freedom Following Formula program this Saturday. And with 23,000 plus people waiting to hear about it, I gave you a way that you can skip the line and get in there early. Plus, I gave you an extra bonus for joining the program that's only available to people who have either been on these bootcamp trainings live or who have listened to the recordings. And I told you how your registration in the program is absolutely risk-free because of our double your investment back guarantee. And I'll tell you more in a bit, but I want to get started on the meat of our day 2 bootcamp session. So take a moment to look at this slide. Being your own boss, here's the expectation, lying in a pool, beautiful, beautiful, sunny day, nothing else to do, versus reality, screen time. Your weekly report says you averaged 24 hours of screen time per day last week. Anyone relate? Raise your hand if you relate, and be honest. I mean, it's funny, right? It's funny, haha, but really it's actually kind of sad because I don't know anyone who went into business to work 24/7, right? I don't know anyone who went into business intending to never leave the 4 walls of their home office. And I don't know anyone who went into business planning to struggle financially when clients are nowhere to be found. You might find yourself in any or all of these confining situations, but you didn't get there intentionally, right? Instead, we go into business to create freedom for ourselves. So what does freedom mean to you? Sometimes it can feel a bit hard to pinpoint your definition of freedom, but it's actually important to know what most drives you so you can keep it front and center in all of your business decision making, especially as you build an online audience that will respond to your offers and support your freedom. So do this, and it can help to close your eyes. But first, read the questions. Answer these 3 questions for yourself. Imagining your absolutely perfect day with no limits whatsoever on your choices. Where would you be? What would you be doing? And with whom? And I'll give you just 20 seconds. And if you're willing, I'd love to know what you come up with. You can type that into the chat box and Maureen will read some of the responses.
Absolutely. Gonna give it just a minute for some of them to start pouring in.
I'll take the opportunity to sip some water.
Yeah, go for it. All right, we're starting to get a couple here. Lori says, out in the woods. Oh, they're coming in fast now. Went off my screen. Out in the woods, running around, sketching and reading. We've got crashing cars and taking photos of the crashes. Be traveling somewhere with family, having new experiences. Suzanne would like to be in Italy, sitting amongst the vines, sipping wine. I like that.
Me too. So thank you, Maureen. I will actually read every single one of those after our training is over to myself, so I know. But the thing is that your answers to these 3 questions are going to point a finger toward the freedom that you most cherish. And it's going to be one of these 5 types of freedom. So location freedom. Now, this is the freedom that means the most to me. That is me there in the photo. I have loved traveling all my life. I've been to nearly 40 countries, which in my opinion is way too few. Location freedom is really about more than travel, though. It's what enabled me to be my mom's nurse after 2 knee replacement surgeries, or to work on a bluff overlooking the rugged Pacific coastline near my home, which I did as I was preparing the boot camp. With a freedom following, you can reach and work with your audience online from anywhere you want to be, whether that's Rome or Bali or Texas or Antarctica, which is my new place that I'm jonesing to go to. Time freedom. Your freedom following gives you time freedom by making it possible to move beyond one-on-one client work, because now you can reach and serve many at a time, meaning you can work fewer hours and bring in even more money for that time worked. You will banish the words "I can't" from your life. I can't drive on my kid's school field trip because I can't get time off. I can't meet you for coffee because I already took my lunch break. I can't go with you to New Orleans because I already took vacation, right? Time freedom removes "I can't" from your life. Freedom to choose. The absence of choice is a kind of a typical feature of what I call jobs. You do what you're told and you stay within the lines. With your own email audience, you always have freedom to choose who you serve, what you offer, how you price it. You're free to call the shots in your life too, and free to control your own future. Creative freedom. Your freedom following gives you freedom of creative expression by giving you an audience that treasures your style, your particular way with words, your aesthetic, your insights, your interpretations. It helps you find your truest expression of self as you connect with readers on an emotional level. You don't have to tamp down your whole self or conform to some expected way of being in a job. And financial freedom, whether you want to have a business empire or a thriving solo act, what I believe we can all agree on is that we want to be able to control our finances, not be controlled by them. And working with one-on-one clients, it means you're always going to have a cap on your income. You only have so many hours in a week. You can only raise your rates so far. When you build your freedom following and utilize some of the profit models that we're going to talk about today, you will have access to more and more and more people throughout the world. That's more people who can join your programs, meaning that you increase your income without having to increase the hours that you work. Now, you may find yourself thinking, I want all of those freedoms, and that's fine. I do too. But your audience of potential clients, your freedom following, is the conduit to freedoms of all kinds. So you can have them all. But which of those 5 freedoms, location, time, choice, expression, financial, which of those means the most to you? In other words, which freedom is your guiding light, your North Star? And type that into the chat. And then Maureen, please read a few.
Okay, we've got location, time, financial freedom right now, creativity, lots of locations. Time seems to be our second. Financial from Bill.
Like I said, we want all of them, and we all should get all of them. In terms of your business, your freedom following is what gets you all of those freedoms. The opportunities available to you, they really multiply exponentially when you have a loyal and engaged audience of just the right people. So in the most basic sense, your audience sets you free by buying your offers, right? But it also sets you free because Having a freedom following increases the types of offers that you can make. And that gives you the opportunity to work from anywhere, to get creative, to bring in more money, and to free up more time, right? So let me show you in real numbers how substantially your income can grow with a freedom following offer. This is before we get into too much detail. I just want you to really see this. So let's say you see currently 15 clients a week, okay, and your hourly rate is $120. So at that rate, your monthly revenue is about $7,500. So bit by bit, you bring on more clients and your roster doubles. And you're now averaging monthly revenue of $15,000, but you are working so hard. You see 30 clients every week. You hardly have time for anything outside of your work. And you've topped out income-wise because you just can't take on any new clients. Yes, you could raise your rates, but you're already near top dollar charged by others in your vicinity. And no matter your rate, your income is still going to be limited by the number of hours that you work, right? So let's say you start growing your freedom following and you begin to offer some sort of group program to your consistently growing audience. You get to a place where you can count on at least 50 people from all around the world enrolling each time you offer enrollment in your program. So let's say you offer a month-long program for $500. It takes 3 hours a week to deliver that. Your revenue for that month from that one program is $25,000. So 30 hours per week for $15,000 or 3 hours per week for 25. I say 3 hours per week for 25, right? Yes, please. So raise your hand if that sounds good to you. Yes, definitely. So today we are going to talk about offers, what types of offers you can make with a freedom following. And we're going to start with a bird's eye view, and then we'll drill down on a few of them, and I'll show you how they can become a logical and simple progression of offerings that ramps up your earnings. So basically, we're answering here the question, is building an audience worth it? Because, yeah, you kind of want to know something's worth the effort before you go much further, right? So we're going to start with the client offer matrix, which I put together just as a way to organize the wealth of offer options that you have when you develop a freedom following. Now, along the top of the matrix, an offer will fall into one of two categories, high touch or low touch. High touch generally means that there's a lot of you in the product or program or service. Low touch means that you can deliver the product or program or service with very little of you needing to be present. Along the side of the client offer matrix, the offer falls into either a one-on-one setting, usually just you and your client, or a one-to-many situation in which you are teaching or showing or leading multiple people. So as we look at the top section, you've got client sessions, done-for-you services, and VIP consultation packages. So these are very high touch. Now, low touch one-to-one is a little bit hard to define, but sometimes private label support where you're providing support under somebody else's brand could be one. And subcontractor work, if you have subcontractors that you hire out to do services, that could qualify as low touch one-to-one. So now let's look at the bottom, one-to-many. I'm just going to go through these. And then, like I said, we're going to go deeper into 3 of them. So you've got coaching or therapy groups. These are all in the high touch category because there is going to be, a fair amount of you in it. Training courses, and these would be training courses that are live and have support that you do support in. Mastermind groups, workshops and retreats, virtual fitness or yoga or dance classes or whatever, any kinds of classes, certification programs where you're teaching other people your methods so that they can go out and do them. And then in the low touch category, one-to-many, we have done-for-you products. You have training courses that are more like info products because somebody can take them without you being there, otherwise known as evergreen. Subscription services, physical products like card decks or affirmation candles or dog collars or whatever it is. Other people's products where you would receive commission for selling other people's products. Membership club. So these are not all, these are some of the many, many options that you have in terms of offers to your freedom following. But let's just go in a little bit more. So when you have a loyal and engaged and growing online audience, it can help you actually fill those high-touch one-to-one client spots, those VIP consultations, those one-on-one service packages, because the more people that hear about it, the greater your chance of filling the dedicated spots that you have, right? But really, one-to-many is where the real benefit of a freedom following clicks in. These are what you would truly call freedom offers. They free up your time while increasing your income because you are leveraging a growing audience. So think about it. When your online audience, your freedom following is smaller, you may enroll 10 people in a program that you create. Your freedom following grows over the course of a year or two, and now you can enroll 100 in the same program. So you end up doing nearly the same amount of work for 100 people as you do for 10, but your income is 10 times, right? And so that's the power of one-to-many and the power of growing your freedom following. So now let's look more closely at 3 of these one-to-many offers that you may want to offer as you are developing your freedom following. And as we do that, we're going to map them onto what I call the profit pyramid. And this is a great decision-making tool when you are deciding what your freedom offers are going to be, because without it, you might be unwittingly creating a bunch of offers that all belong on the same pyramid level, and you may not be meeting the deeper needs of your freedom following. And before we get started, I want to make an important distinction here. When it comes to online business, you may have heard the term sales funnel or marketing funnel. It actually looks the same as a profit pyramid, but just upside down. So raise your hand if you've heard of that. Sales funnel or a marketing funnel. Yeah, so a lot of you have heard of that. But a funnel is not just a profit pyramid turned upside down. In general, a funnel refers to the journey from a person being aware of your business to that person being a committed customer. The profit pyramid looks specifically at your offers and the ideal client progression through those offers. So using the profit pyramid, you'll be looking to offer varying price points and deepening levels of private work with you. The first level is the free level, and that's where your opt-in freebie or freebies live. You can have several of these for sure. In fact, I think it's really great to have multiple free things to give away in exchange for someone opting into your email list. But you got to start with one, right? And if you are like a lot of solopreneurs, an opt-in freebie is one of those things that you have been meaning to get around to, but haven't created yet. A lot of times it's because you don't know what makes a good one or what should be in it, how to create it or where to put it, and on and on and on, right? So just FYI, we spend a lot of time on this, on all of this in my Freedom Following Formula program. And you even get feedback and input on what you create because it is so important. It's people's first impression of you. So level 2, your next level up, you want to have a lower priced introductory offer that is introducing them to you, to your work and the value that you provide in a paid way. And generally speaking, the price points for this level are going to range from about $47 to about $397. It could go lower, could go a little higher. You could have a $7 introductory offer, but it's not likely to go too much higher than $397. And this is a great place to have a short pre-recorded self-study course on a very targeted topic that you know your audience is eager to learn and that you can deliver in, say, 4 modules. There are tons of different things that you can create that are appropriate introductory offers, paid offers. But I want to introduce to you a type of offer that goes perfectly in this level, but that is overlooked by most solopreneurs. It's easy to create, which is one of the things I love about it, and it can be a wonderful offer. And I'm talking about done for you products, not done for you services, done for you products. You see in the client offer matrix, they are in the lower right quadrant. In other words, low touch and one to many. And remember, as your freedom following grows one to many, especially in this lower touch area, is where your freedoms really grow. Now, we're also busy trying to do everything that the prospect of someone doing it for us really fills us with relief and makes our life easier. And the same with your clients and students. Now, you may think that because you're a coach or a financial planner or a healer, a dog trainer, whatever, that you cannot do done for you products. And I just want to say it's a common misconception. You can. For a long time, I was a writer, and the only way that I knew to make money was with my services, with one-on-one clients, essentially a done for you writing and editorial service. Then I discovered how to do done for you products. And oh my God, what a brain explosion. I leveraged that low touch one to many quadrant. So you start by asking these two main questions. What does my audience need, or what would be super helpful? And what does my audience have a hard time doing or getting around to? Now, one of my done for you products is ready to go articles, which are professionally pre-written articles on tons of different topics that my clients can download and edit and use as their own to put in their newsletter or on their website, a lot of different places they can use them. So answering those two questions about my audience, number one, their need is to nurture their audience, their freedom following. And number two, the thing that they have a hard time doing or a hard time getting around to doing is writing that nurture content, right? And just as a reminder, you might remember that as a bonus to joining my Freedom Following Formula program, all of my students get 12 of these, 12 ready to go articles of their choice to, jumpstart their nurturing. So here are just a few done for you product ideas to get your creativity flowing. Templates and or spreadsheets. Now, these can be fill in the blank worksheets or ready-made forms. Let's say you're a fitness coach. You could create a document that helps your clients track their body measurements, their fat loss, their water consumption, etc. A professional organizer could create a fill in the blank journal for keeping all household information. Pre-written materials. So let's say you're a money coach. You could create a list of money mindset affirmations. You could laminate it for your audience to keep next to their bed or computer. And you could package that with a set of audio money motivation messages for a really nice done for you set. Or you're a communications consultant for small retail businesses. You could create a list of high converting subject lines specifically for retail stores, along with done for you ad templates. I'm just giving you some ideas here, hoping that it starts your creative juices flowing. Directories. Let's say you coach professional speakers. You could offer a directory of all event management associations and event managers, or you work with clients on gaining visibilities via podcasts, right? You could offer a directory of podcast hosts divided by topic along with contact info. Package that with a template for your query letter and bio, and you have a really nice little done for you package. Scripts. Chances are your clients and prospects struggle to say certain things within the parameters of the topic that you work with them on. So done for you scripts and phrases can be really, really helpful to your people who are stuck for words. For example, what to say when prospective clients say they can't afford it, what to say to an abusive coworker, what to say to your romantic partner to get out of a fight, what to say in a job interview when the person interviewing you asks about your strengths and challenges. I mean, the list can go just on and on. So raise your hand if that's got you thinking about potential done-for-you products that you can create. Good. I'm happy to see that it is. And I would really love to know what you come up with. So be sure to email me what you decide. No, that's not your homework, but I would still love to know it. So let's move up now to the third level of the profit pyramid. Remember, those done-for-you items were in the second tier, the lower priced introductory offer, and now we're in the mid-range offer. As you work your way up the pyramid, you'll be adding more of you in your offers. And what works really well at this level is what's known as a hybrid online training course that incorporates education and coaching to help with implementation. Now, as I'm sure you're aware, there are entire courses devoted to creating these online training courses. So I am not even going to attempt to squeeze all of that information into our session today. I'm sure you don't even expect it. But here are some highlights that can help you get on your scooter about those. So when you're talking about an online training program with modules, et cetera, it's good to have things be organized as parts of a step-by-step system or process. So take a step back and look at how you work with your clients. Even if you think that your work is different with every client, it's highly likely that you take them through a similar process, even if the details within that process are different. Be sure that you don't put everything you know into your training. It will be overwhelming for your students. Instead, choose a focused effort that will get your students results. So you start with the step-by-step, rolled out typically in modules, and then you add to that to round out and enrich the experience. You may include worksheets and handouts. You may add pre-recorded messages or additional adjunct mini trainings. You may add group coaching or unlimited email access. You may add accountability methods. Whatever you add increases the value your students receive and perceive, which adds to the amount that you can charge at this level. But again, remember, while the access to you is more important than in the introductory level, it's not what clients who invest at the very top of your pyramid will receive. So let's just go through a quick example of what might make an appropriate level 3 mid-range offer. Let's say you are a weight loss specialist. You create a 6-month program, and here is some of what it could include. A weekly pre-recorded video training from you with your step-by-step process, and they get that for 6 months. Your course delivery platform marks when they have listened to it, so you can track individual progress. A checklist of what your students ate and how they moved that day, and that checklist is submitted online every day. And the top 3 students who submit the most daily checklists win a private session with you at the end of the course. A daily 5-minute motivational audio from you. You have it scheduled to go out the night before, and they have to listen to it in the morning before they start their day. And then they mark that they've listened to it each day. A monthly group coaching call with you in which students can discuss their progress, their stumbles. It's your opportunity to help them uncover the blocks and motivate them to keep moving forward. Okay, so this is a fairly comprehensive program full of lots of support, both automated and live, and it can be done from anywhere in the world. Pricing would be dependent on a lot of things, but let's just put a price tag on it for purposes of our discussion here. Let's say this is a $1,997 offering, $1,997 offering. So that's about $350 a month for 6 months. And the ultra cool thing is that as you grow your freedom following, you'll enroll more and more students in your course with very little extra work. So more people partake of the value that you provide, and their lives improve. And your income grows without commanding too much more of your time. Your freedom expands, your life improves. So let's go now to the top of this pyramid, to the high-end offer. Here, people usually put one-on-one services, their highest touch client work, and that's totally fine for you to do with one caveat. Have your one-on-one clients sign up for a package of services rather than just pay a session at a time. A singing teacher that I know used to charge by the session, but now she has two options for her students, a package of 10 sessions or a package of 20 sessions. And that's what has given her not only reliable income up front, but also more committed and responsive students. But since we're looking at the one-to-many possibilities that a growing freedom following affords you, let's see how you can make a high-touch one-to-many offer at the top of your pyramid. Now, one way is a hybrid program that includes training, but it also includes private one-on-one coaching, and it includes an in-person retreat that happens 1 to 3 times a year. So the program would also have a longer duration than your level 3 offering, probably 12 months. And the peer community that's inherent in the program would become part of the value to participants. So even at the top level, you're making more income than just one-on-one client work because you're working in the high touch one-to-many quadrant. See that one right there. So in general, the people who are going to take you up on this top level offer are those who've experienced your value at the lower levels, right? And of course, not everyone who buys your lower level offers will make it to the top, but as your freedom following grows, more of them will. The more people opt in for your free offering, the more will buy your introductory offer, the more will take your training program at the 3rd level, and the more will want to go to the pinnacle with you. So let's put some numbers. This is really exciting. Let's put some numbers to these offerings and look at how this profit pyramid has become full of freedom offers, helping you leverage your freedom following to support your own freedom. So let's say that 10% of your growing freedom following takes you up on your introductory level 2 offer. That is $97. And of those buyers, 20% takes your level 3 training program at $19.97, while 10% of that group goes on to your peak offer at $79.97. So with a freedom following of 1,000 people, you'd have 100 paying customers buying your introductory offer, 20 signing up for your level 3 training program, and 2 at your highest paying level for a total of nearly $66,000. And you could always run your level 2 and 3 programs more than once a year. Now look, with a freedom following of 5,000 people, you would have 500 buyers of your level 2 introductory offer, and therefore 100 level 3 training program students and 10 VIP clients at the top for a total of $328,000, a little more than that. 5 times the income. But are you doing 5 times the work? No. Clearly, with these programs in your profit pyramid, you'd be doing significantly less than 5 times the work. So this is just for purposes of showing you the possibilities as you ramp up your freedom following. Nothing is ever quite so straightforward, as much as we might wish it were. There may be people who jump from free stuff to your level 3 program or from level 2 straight to your pinnacle program. Your price points may be different, and your sales percentages are dependent on a great variety of factors. But these numbers are possible. And regardless of the exact numbers, you can see the importance of growing your freedom following and the increasing levels of freedom that you can experience as it does. That is the power of a freedom following. So in terms of homework, keeping in mind that everything is a work in progress and can be changed at any time. In other words, don't let uncertainty stop you from moving forward. Your homework is to list a possible offer for each of the 4 levels of your profit pyramid. Level 1, your free opt-in offer. Level 2, your introductory offer. Level 3, a mid-range offer. And level 4, the high-end offer. Now, to make it easy, I'm going to give you one of the worksheets from my Freedom Following Formula program. It's a PDF of the profit pyramid, and you can fill out your offer levels directly in this document. And you can get it at www.pyramid.sixfigurenewsletters.com. You don't have to title the products or programs in each level, just say what they are. So for example, if you were a leadership expert, you might have your freebie, your free list building offer, a 4-week mini course that you deliver by email, a 4-month training with group coaching, and corporate team training contracts as your pinnacle offer. So to submit your homework, just attach that filled out document to an email with the subject line homework and send that email to clientcare@clairecommunications.com. And be sure to submit it before 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. That is Thursday, November 18th. If you have turned in both of your homework assignments by then, you'll be eligible for the drawing that we're doing tomorrow for place in my Freedom Following Formula program. So if you haven't finished yesterday's homework yet, there's still a chance for you to do so that you have a chance for the grand prize drawing tomorrow. Now, I want to take a few moments because I know that was that's a little more complex of a homework assignment than I've given. And so I want to take a moment and see if there are any questions about the homework. So you can just type those into the chat or into the questions box, and Maureen will let me know what they are.
Absolutely. See. And we do have a couple of places, guys. There is the Q&A box down at the bottom, in addition to the chat, and questions can go there.
I'll page back
questions for the homework, guys? Yeah, I'm seeing other questions. Nothing right about last night's homework.
I can answer questions about last night's homework. I want to make sure that everybody has everything they need in order to do the homework so that you can become part of the drawing for tomorrow.
Yeah, sorry, I misspoke. I was reading someone that asked what was yesterday's homework.
Oh, okay.
And I think that's where that came out of my mouth. And just so you know, JL, that was submitting the number to Claire Communications, how many people you had added to your list.
Yeah, it's based on yesterday's training. I showed you how to create your Jumpstart list, and there are very specific parameters to that Jumpstart list. So it was something that you would need to listen to first, and then the homework was to add at least 15 to your Jumpstart list or more, 15 or more. And then the homework was to just send us the number that you were able to add to your Jumpstart list.
Yeah, and that replay is available for everybody that registered. So that video should be already been sent to you in your inbox. Eugene, if you have a more specific question, we'll be happy to give it to you. He just says, I don't really understand today's homework. So can you just give a brief recap for us, Linda?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's why I asked, because I had a feeling that might be the case. So the slide that I have on right now is the example of what I'm asking you to do. So I want you to give us an idea to think for yourself and come up with, and like I said, this is a work in progress, so it doesn't need to, it can be changed at any time. But for right now, I wanted you to think through what the progression that you might offer your freedom following. So the progression of this mystical person who's a leadership expert or leadership coach, their progression is first the list building offer. You don't have to specify what that is. And then they were going to deliver a 4-week mini course by email. That's the level 2 offer. Then their next level up was a 4-month training with group coaching. And then the very top, the pinnacle, the highest offer that they have in terms of the highest amount of them involved and also the highest price that they charge would be corporate team training contracts, right? So that's just an example of that kind of a person. What I want you to do is think through what the progression might be for your profit pyramid.
Okay. Somebody wants to know if the profit pyramid can not include having a free list building offer. What are your thoughts on that?
There aren't too many more ways for you to build your freedom following than with something that's free. So whether that's a like a guide with 15 resources in it, or it's a webinar, or it's a package of done for you things, that are free. Those are all examples of free list building offers. And that's the way that you get people into your list. There aren't too many places anymore where you can just slap up a subscribe to my newsletter kind of a button and have people actually do that. So you need to entice, attract them with things that are free for them to get in exchange for opting into your email list. So I would not recommend leaving that level out. The very important level.
Yeah. Becky's wondering if they need to include prices for the pyramid on their homework.
No,
level, that is.
You don't, but if it's helpful for you to kind of go there and think through it, then by all means include those, but that's not required for the homework submission.
Okay. Eugene's asking if they need to write it in a pyramid that you supply. So Elizabeth, I know we've got a link to that. She just popped in the chat. So yes, Eugene, there is a pyramid available. Look in the chat for that. And Elizabeth has been dropping it periodically, and we will continue to do so.
And
for everybody.
The homework is that you submit the information. So if you don't want to use that PDF that has the fill outable field for those, you can just send us an email that says level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4.
Correct. Yep. And that pyramid's for you guys. That's for you to have. And again, that email is clientcare@clairecommunications.com. You'll just submit it with the subject line being homework.
That's it? No more questions on the homework?
Not that I'm seeing right away. Yeah, so I'd say we can keep moving on, and we do have other questions that we will try to get to at the end.
Super. So speaking of the grand prize drawing that we're doing tomorrow for a spot in the Freedom Following Formula program, I wanted to let you know that I don't use the word freedom lightly. Think back to the beginning of today's boot camp session. when we went over the 5 freedoms that you can tap into as an entrepreneur and, somebody who has built a thriving freedom following. I think that freedom is serious business. I think that financial freedom and time freedom and the freedom to run your business from anywhere and to do it in the manner and style that you choose, it's serious, it's profound. And it reminds me of a quote by Howard Thurman, who I don't believe he's alive anymore, an influential author and leader in the civil rights movement. And I have that here. There we go. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, and go do that, because what the world needs is people who have come alive. And experiencing freedom in your life and business is really what makes you come alive. I mean, through your work with others, it helps them come alive. And so it's like this giant ripple that emanates out from the joy and the exuberance of your freedom. In fact, I actually think it's worth mentioning that joy is a common denominator of all 5 freedoms that we talked about earlier in the session. Think about it. When you're working in freedom, you're impacting people's lives with the work that you do. Joy. You're freely expressing yourself. Joy. You're working from wherever your heart sings. Joy. You're free to choose what and when and how and why in your work. Joy. And your finances grow while you work less, literally. Big joy. So in my Freedom Following Formula program, I don't use the word freedom lightly. And I also don't call this program a formula just because that alliteration sounds good. There is an actual formula that I teach. Step 1 is to know your audience and, importantly, yourself. Step 2 is to prepare the key foundations that you'll need, such as what we were just talking about, the free list building offer. Step 3 is to attract the right people to your email list. Very important, the right people. Step 4 is to nurture them generously and authentically. And then step 5 is to make offers that they're already primed to want. So it's a formula that works, and one that you can learn and incorporate into your business in ways that work for you and your business. And it's what I teach in the Freedom Following Formula program. And that opens its doors in just a few days on Saturday. Now, I originally was going to only run the program once this year, but I see this time of year as a particularly potent time to set a new direction for your business by building your audience, so that in 2022, you can really begin to see and feel the greater freedom in your life and the greater impact that you're having in your business. So I will be taking a new cohort of students through the program beginning in December. It's a totally risk-free opportunity to finally, once and for all, fill your online audience, and to fill them with people who are really engaged and who value the relationship and who put themselves into your profit pyramid and buy your products and programs. And because you're here at the boot camp, I'm going to give you a special early bird chance to get in before the doors open. And it's one that you're going to want to take advantage of, because it's got an amazing early bird bonus that comes with it. So before we spin the wheel for today's raffle drawing, I want to share with you some important details of this opportunity, and then we'll do the drawing and the Spotlight Coaching Q&A. So the Freedom Following Formula shows you how to create and execute your own personalized system to attract and bond with your freedom following, and ultimately to convert them into paying clients, all while keeping your focus on generosity and true relationship. And that's true whether you're starting from scratch, whether you have a tiny list that just won't grow, whether you have an unresponsive list that needs some more love and attention from you. in my business, we call it Linda Love, or whether you've been working really hard at list building and not seeing great results, seeing very slow results. So the freedom following formula is going to help you jumpstart your list growth and build momentum and attract and engage freedom following that produces more income and more flexibility and more freedom for you and your business. We cut through the chaos. We find the best way for you to reach and serve the perfect audience for your business and start building and nurturing your freedom following. Meaning, if you kind of hate social media and don't want to use it, for example, you don't have to. But if you love social media, you'll get clear on the best activities and platforms to employ in building your audience so that you don't waste time and energy and money. You'll discover exactly who your freedom followers are, which is super important to do, the best way to find and attract their attention, how to build trust and loyalty, and then how to leverage your audience to increase your income, all while you're still giving freely and keeping their needs front and center. So you get all this training and support and accountability that you need to add at least 1,000 subscribers to your list, guaranteed. And I will tell you about that in just a sec. But you'll know exactly what to do. You'll start doing it and getting results during our time together. It includes everything that you need to take fast action and start getting results quickly, including 16 weeks of live training, plus a lifetime access to the class recordings so that you have all the instruction and details that you need at your fingertips. You have access to the Freedom Library, which is an exclusive collection of step-by-step guides showing you the simplest way to get the quick results from the most common audience building methods. And that includes a host of the social media platforms, the main 6 or 7 of them, as well as giveaways, joint venture partnerships, podcasts, guest blogging, and others. So that no matter what you choose to put in your custom list building plan, you will have the exact steps to follow. Action assignments for each module that keep you on track and focused on your highest leverage opportunities. Worksheets, templates, and done-for-you content so you can quickly and easily create content that you need to both attract and nurture and promote to your audience. 5, get it done implementation days so that you can make some really good progress and create some of your key items in less than a day. Now, these are a combination of community check-ins, individual work, Q&A, and celebration. We do it all together, virtually together. And the goal is to help you stay accountable and moving forward. Weekly coaching calls during the program where you can ask questions, get support, share wins, get unstuck, receive feedback, and overcome those roadblocks that you might find in your way. And then monthly freedom check-in calls for 8 months. This is a really big deal because a lot of times programs end and that's just it. You're kind of on your own. But in the freedom following formula, you get 8 freedom check-in calls. We spend, generally speaking, a couple of hours doing more and more coaching and feedback. And, it's an opportunity to get all the support that you need. So you have ongoing support from me as you are growing your list and creating your freedom following. The program is extremely practical because that's who I am. And it's very results oriented. So that means that if you follow my instructions and you ask for help when you need it and you execute consistently, you will create a simple, customized list building system that works for you. And you'll begin building your list during the program. So you'll be able to test your system and get comfortable using it, and then be well on your way to building a true freedom following. So you'll know exactly what to do and how to do it now and in the future. And as I said earlier, you are guaranteed to build a list of at least 1,000 of your just right people And 1,000 people is kind of important because once you have your first 1,000, it's so easy to get the next 1,000. And you know exactly how to and where to go to get your next 5,000, your next 10,000. In other words, 1,000 is the tipping point at which your existing business and freedom following becomes a freedom business. And you can and definitely will begin building your list during the 16 weeks of the program. I know that not everybody, however, is in a position to lay all of their foundations and gear up to 1,000 in that 16-week timeframe. That would be promising something that I know people would not be able to fulfill. So if you're brand new to this kind of work, you probably need a little more time. And that is why my guarantee is good for an entire year. And it's why that you won't risk a single penny by giving my Freedom Following Formula program a chance to work for you. If you complete the program and implement the list building plan that you develop in the course with my guidance, I guarantee that you'll add at least 1,000 new subscribers to your email list within the next year. And if you don't, I will refund double your investment in the program. Double your investment. So I'm pretty certain about that. And of course, to be eligible for the guarantee, you've got to do the work. You've got to request help when you need it and follow the advice and suggestions that I provide. But you have an entire year to do it. So what specifically will you learn in the program? Well, you'll identify your freedom followers and where they are, and with a lot more clarity and precision than you may have ever thought possible, so that everything you do, both in and out of the program, becomes a powerful connection with your audience. You will uncover all that you have to offer your audience, even if you can't see it right now. So your confidence becomes magnetic and you explore your own marketing strengths and preferences so you don't waste time pushing uphill and doing things that feel unnatural. And you can focus on what works for you. You'll learn how to easily create your freebies, your lead capture system, and your follow-up nurture emails with feedback. And this is important, with feedback and input from me and my team every step of the way so that you know you're on the right track. You'll discover how to tap into the currency of relationship and other people's networks for powerful and proven tactics to grow your audience. You'll understand how to choose and use the social media platform that matches you and your audience. So if you want to use social media at all, remember, you don't have to. You'll figure out the ones that are right for you. You'll learn exactly how to create webinars that you will use in attracting your freedom followers, as well as all of the email sequences that you need for those presentations. That's some of the done for you content that is part of the program for you. You'll learn to engage authentically and joyfully with your freedom following so that your audience loves your work and values what you give. And a big part of that is finding your voice. It feels so good to do that. And that's part of what I will show you how to do. And you'll discover how to easily monetize your audience so you can boost your income and control your hours and use that to set yourself free. And part of that is learning how to write promotional emails that get results when you send them out, which is also part of the program. And there's a lot more. And just two I wanted to show you what some of my previous students have thought of this course. Maria says, I'm really enormously grateful for this course. I love the depth and pace and just the step-by-step nature of it. I think the thing that's helped me the most is really feeling like this is all possible. This is down to earth. I don't have to be enormously talented or special or have some great gift. It feels attainable for me. I've got this. It's incredible. And Martin, who teaches students already, says, I tell my students in my class that their clients will be waiting when they're ready. But programs like this help to shovel the driveway to make them get there quicker. I recommend it to all my students. So your tuition for the program, with 16 step-by-step training sessions, 16 coaching calls to keep you moving forward, 15 get it done implementation days, the Freedom Library, powerful supportive community, and all the strategies and methodologies and coaching and support and templates. And the guarantee is only $14.97. And we have a very accessible financing plan as well. You can join today for $197 a month. 9 monthly payments, that's it. The door to this program officially opens on November 20th, that's Saturday. And who knows, we've got 23,000 people plus waiting to hear the announcement. And since you're here at the boot camp, you get to jump in line. So if you want to reserve your spot right now, go to freedomfollowingformula.com/join. If you want your spot, join us before we open the doors on the 20th. And this is not a link that I'm giving to anyone other than boot campers. If you're on the call right now or you're watching a recording, that's it. So if you join the program before Friday, at the end of the day on Friday, you will get a special early bird bonus. And that is $1,000 in virtual assistant support that can help you with all of those techie tasks that that often hold people back from building their audience. We're talking things like set up an email list and opt-in freebie design work, and landing and registration page setup, and automated email series, set up your newsletter. So you'll get a support for these kinds of tasks from highly trained and vetted virtual assistants from an agency that we partner with. But you only get this when you join the Freedom Following Formula before we officially open enrollment. And so that means by the end of the day on Friday. So during the Freedom Following Formula program, you are going to discover how to communicate with your audience in ways that feel fun and enjoyable for you and that keep your audience engaged and interested in your content. But getting into the groove of writing regular, valuable content can take a little time, especially when you're also focused on building your audience. And that's why I'm including a second bonus of 12 done-for-you articles, 12 done-for-you articles of your choice. So you can send high-value newsletters and nurture emails to your audience right away. We know that your readers want solutions that will benefit their lives. And these done-for-you articles will let you deliver this value, these solutions, with just a few clicks of a button. Now, I normally sell these articles on a very limited basis as part of the Ready to Go articles arm of my business. I charge $637 for a dozen articles that meet my high standard for quality and relevance. But you'll get them for free when you enroll in the Freedom Following Formula program. So between the virtual assistant support, for all early birds, and the Ready to Go articles, you're getting more than $1,600 in bonuses, plus the amazing Freedom Following Formula program itself. So altogether, more than $3,100 in real value, all for only $14.97 or $197 a month for 9 months. So this is your opportunity to finally create this essential cornerstone of your business. And you'll do it with guidance and feedback, with templates and cheat sheets, and with accountability and community, and me with you all the way. Your growing audience, your freedom following, will set you free. Free to fill your programs and impact people around the world. Free to send one email that reaches literally tens of thousands of people and makes a difference in their lives and in your pocketbook. Free to finish work at 3 p.m. so you can pick your kids up from school and spend the rest of the day with them. Free to travel the world and experience new cultures and adventures. Free to support your family and create the lifestyle that you want for yourself for your family, for your kids, for your future. So I hope that you will join me and grow your freedom following. I would love to work with you. And the link is freedomfollowingformula.com/join. So now it's time for our drawing, and then we have Q&A time. So be thinking of your questions. You can type them into the question box or into chat. Probably better if you type them into the questions box. And then let me change to our wheel of names. A little easier to see today than it was yesterday with 4,100 names in it.
Yeah,
All right,
that one yesterday was crazy.
That was crazy. All right, so here we go. And the winner is going to receive the high definition monocular telescope. Ready, set. Marla Shingler Bobbio. Wow, that's a great name. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I'm going to say Marila. We will be in touch with you. You are the winner of the high definition monocular telescope. And I said I was going to say why I'm giving that away for audience building. And that is because, you know, you want to have a really good handle on who your clients are, who your ideal audience is, and where to find them. And so that's the metaphor in the high def telescope. You really get a clear picture of that. So congratulations, Marla, and Elizabeth will be in touch with you to get your address so that we can mail that off to you. So let me come back here.
Yeah.
And I said I was going to hopefully remember to put my video on. Let me just turn my light on. Yeah, I remembered. Let me turn my light on and I'll be right there.
And it looks like it's 3:17 my time, Central Time, so about 17 minutes after the hour. So we do have a few minutes for this Q&A. For everybody that's attending today, we will definitely try to get to as many questions as we can. But if we don't get to your question for some reason, please send us an email at clientcare@clairecommunications.com. Somebody will be in touch with you to get your questions answered. Okay, are you ready for some questions?
I'm ready.
Linda?
Yeah,
okay.
I'm ready.
Let's get this ball rolling here. Ming has asked, well, she asked a few questions regarding the profit pyramid and prices. So she's wondering, how did you come up with the price ranges and decide on those? When did you decide to either increase or decrease prices? And what are your thoughts for your clients after they take or experiences for your clients after they take up the high-end offer? That last one, Ming, I'm not really sure. We'll try to get it answered as best as we can, but let's start with getting how did you do the price ranges? Why did you decide on them? And what happens when you increase or decrease?
Sure. I have a broad range of awareness within the industry of people who are in transformational positions. And I include in that trainers and consultants and independent professionals, anybody who's helping anyone else improve their life, improve their relationship, improve their business, improve their finances. Any people who are in the business of improving the lives of their clients, I have a pretty broad awareness of. And so I just used my industry understanding of kind of like what's done, what's out there and working.
Mhm.
So that was the first part of the question. The second part was what?
So then, and this might tie in directly to it really, how do you know when to increase and decrease those prices?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of different things that go into that, but one thing that will always go into increasing and decreasing is, sometimes you want to see that fewer people, you want offers that everyone's going to be able to partake in, and then you want offers that people who are really, really committed are able to partake in. And so sometimes you might raise a price so that you're sure to get people who have real skin in the game. And so if you find a lot of people, say, buying a product or a program, but nobody doing anything about it, then that may be your cue to raise the price and really dig in
Sure.
with those. There are just so many different ways to approach that question. So I hope that's a little bit helpful.
Yeah. Yeah. And she did chime in with what she was referring to in the very end there. She's wondering, like, what happens when they do reach the pinnacle of the pyramid, when they get to the very top, where to next?
If they still want more of you, then you create something that's top to the top of that top. Yeah, maybe your pyramid has 5 levels at that point, right? Or maybe you just create something that's totally customized for them. I mean, I know a variety of business coaches that have, like, they're very, very top. After a 4th level top, they've got people who want even more work with them. And they sometimes have people that will pay them $100,000 for a year of private personal coaching. So it just depends. It depends on your audience and what they are wanting from you. They'll let you know. If they want more, if they want something more after your 4th level, they'll let you know what they're interested in, and you can help. That will help you craft that.
Sure. Great. Yeah. So just be listening. Listen to what the people want, guys. Ming, I hope that helped. There's a couple of people asking. One person wants to know, basically, she has a physical item that they create. It's not a service. Another person saying that I am the product. So they're wondering, how can they use this pyramid approach when they are the product, or they have a physical item and not a service?
Wait, that's two different questions. One is a physical product and one is I am the service.
They're coming from different people.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, just wanted to make sure I understood. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. So with the physical product, physical products are slightly different. You might have a different looking pyramid than somebody with an expertise-based business. So, but you can still look at the progression. Like, if they buy this first, then what might they buy next, and what might they buy after that? So I know that that's something that a lot of companies that sell just, pots and pans, for example, they always have the next thing that they will be introducing and suggesting to their audience of clients, of buying clients. In terms of if it's just you, I mean, that which I showed you, the example that I showed you of the leadership expert, that's just that person, right? So that pyramid is a very is appropriate, is exactly for people whose products are them. Now, I think what you might be saying is that I'm in every possible level. Like, if you look at the product, the profit pyramid, you might say, I have to be in the 1st level, and I have to be in the 2nd level, and I'm all in the 3rd level. And what I had said was that the higher up they get in the profit pyramid, the more of you that is placed in that, the more of you that is part of that product or program or service. And so what I would urge you to do is to think a little bigger about what might I be able to put in a lower level offering that doesn't require so much of me. and that's definitely something that we could do in the program, is to brainstorm what those possibilities might be.
Great. Andrea is asking, what done for you products might work for a book author?
Well, it depends on what your business is. If your business is about selling a book, then that doesn't give you much expansion. But what is it that you're actually selling? Are you selling expertise that you have that your audience could benefit from? Might there be programs that could be developed that are adjacent to or incorporate your book? So there's a lot of different ways to look at that. Most of it involves expanding your thinking about what's possible for you. It's a little hard to do all in 1 minute of my answer, to imagine yourself more than just a book author that sells books. But I don't know, there's just, it's so much fun to brainstorm those kinds of possibilities. And I find it a little challenging to not be able to do that right now, but we could definitely do it in the course.
And speaking of the course, we've got a few people writing in with some basic questions, and I wondered if you could just give us a really brief summary. They're wanting to know, how big is the cohort, what time are the calls, and when does the class begin?
Sure. Class begins on December 2nd. That's a Thursday. The classes are, the training sessions are on Tuesdays, and the coaching sessions are on Thursdays. And the training sessions usually last hour and 15 to hour and a half. And the coaching sessions usually last a couple of hours. And the cohorts, what happens is that people join with a variety of intentions. Some people join because they want to watch the program and see how it unfolds. Some join because they're really ready to dig in and do the work every single week. Others join because they know that they can't do it right this second, but they've got time next month to start in. And so you always have, let's say, for example, the last cohort that I had was 83, 85, something like that, 85 students. And of that, I would say between 25 and 30 were reliably showing up on a week-to-week basis, because everybody else had reasons that they had joined the program that didn't involve being there live. They watched somebody was in Singapore, I think, and so she watched all the training recordings and all the coaching recordings and sent her questions in advance. So I think that it's safe to say that the cohort of active people coming in will be in the range of 20 to 30.
Great. And that's great that you mentioned the person from Singapore, because I have seen, we have been getting calls, people on this call from all over the world. So just know that there will be recordings, guys. Yeah. So you are able to participate, even if it is, in the middle of the night, wherever you are. We've got a couple of more minutes, so I'm just going to ask a couple more of the questions that we have. We've got 2 minutes before the 90-minute mark.
Okay.
Lori has written in, and she's asking, how do you handle the situation where people, want something for nothing? What is a way to attract the buying client versus the free client?
Well, first of all, there's nothing wrong with a free client, as long as they will eventually decide that there's something compelling enough and worth it to them enough to purchase. But I don't want to be Pollyannish and say that, it's possible to build an entire list of people who are never intending to purchase anything. And that would be a trickier list to develop, right? But there are absolutely ways of refining where you are finding your audience, so that you know that you're finding people that meet the demographic and psychographic parameters that you've set for your audience. So it's actually not that difficult. It's just a matter of where you're looking.
Sure. Okay, and I'm gonna just wrap up with one more final question here. Vicky's asking, she says she's got a small subscriber list, but a very broad content area. She's got a lot of ideas for products. Her actions scattered and she's pulled in many directions. Is my situation appropriate for this program? She's asking.
I was just thinking as you were describing that, I was thinking, oh my God, she's the perfect person for this course. No, that you're coming in with what a lot of people come in with. We have people who are just starting building their audience. We have others that are kind of a little ways in, and we have people who've been in business for 10 years, but never really focused enough time on this piece of it. So anyway, in regards to your question about being scattered, a ton of people come in with that same thing. And we spend a lot of time on it in our coaching sessions, helping you really zero in on the most fruitful things that you could be doing and offering and sharing and whatnot. And so, yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And when I hear that, I'm like, oh, let me at her. I can't wait.
This is the person. Well, thank you so much, Linda. This has been absolutely wonderful. And guys, if you are, not able to catch the whole presentation and you had to hop on late, remember that these are being recorded and will be emailed to you later, a few hours after this wraps up.
Yes, they will be. It takes a long time for the recordings to materialize in Zoom. And then, so we should be getting it out more or less in 3.5 hours, something like that. And then the other thing I wanted to say was be sure to come back tomorrow because we're doing a couple of different things. Number one, we're going through the main components of my own list building formula. Right. We're also going to be doing the drawing for the person who gets the free spot in the program. And we'll be going over some, one of the things that is really challenging about doing this kind of work is it brings up a lot of fear and anxiety and like, can I do this? And I'm not enoughness and stuff. And so we're going to be addressing that as well tomorrow. Awesome. I can't wait to see you guys there.
Thanks so much, Linda.
Yeah, take care, everyone. See you tomorrow.